Hello, my name is Harry S. Plinkett, and welcome to the official commentary about the history of Plinkett documentary. I guess this documentary is going to explain all the history of Plinkett, hence the title. But first off, I'd like to say that this documentary is like a lie. It's a fabrication made by two frauds named Jay and Mike, and a guy named Rich Evans. This whole documentary is what they call propaganda, and it's meant to lie to you. It says Rich Evans is the original Plinkett, and that's kind of it's a falsehood. The theory here, though, is that Rich Evans originally played Plinkett in a couple of stupid short films, and that this other guy is the other one. I think. I don't know. See, two Plinketts got duplicated by lightning and by a transporter beam accident in the future. Old Plinkett then went into the Nexus and then decided that he could go to any time that he wanted, but he chose to go 5 minutes before he went into the Nexus so that he could beat up some guy named Sauron. Rich Evans is a guy that does physical comedy, I guess. Wait a minute, hold on. What are you doing? Get out of the kitty litter box, that's not for eating. I'm sorry, my cats are gonna cause a ruckus during this commentary track. So I guess this guy Rich Evans did a lot of films before, mainly him getting beaten up by Satan or falling down and breaking things. He would sit in a wheelchair and he would do shit and say stupid shit, and basically he sucked. And then I made movie reviews about Star Trek, and everybody liked me better. So then when they see him playing me or pretending to be me or whatever, they think he's a f***ing asshole. So Rich Evans made these pornographic films where he would kick a doll around a basement. This was when he was 28 years old. And then he starred in a feature film called Blunt Justice, where he played a space bounty hunter. And then he also got kicked in the crotch and flipped around a doll. Does this guy not have any shame? I mean, the guy can wear a wig like nobody's business, and he can fall down the stairs and get hit in the crotch, but really, I mean, if you want to talk about talentless, shit, him and Kim Kardashian could have a contest, like a talent contest, and both of them would lose. So, I don't know what these guys are talking about. Sometimes my house gets very cold, especially in the winter time. But inside my home, I don't have heat. What I do heat my home with is the love of Jesus Christ. No, I'm just fucking with you. So again, we see this asshole pretending to be me. And then a different asshole talking about how this asshole is pretending to be me. He was the quote-unquote original Plinkett. Get it through your head, idiot. Original Plinkett sucks. I don't know why this guy made this movie. He must be demented. He said he made it for a class in school. What kind of fucking school is that? Clown college? So Rich Evans has appeared in 68 feature films, and he is yet to get hired as an actor anywhere else. And then this guy, Mike Saclasa, has made 68 feature films, and he works at a Target. I mean, can you get any more fucking pathetic? Unfortunately, we can't see the guy behind the camera making this stupid documentary. His name's Jay Bauman. He's also a fucking hack and a fraud. He made 68 feature films too, and he works at Dunkin' Donuts. He's the guy who puts the holes in the donuts in the back, if you know what I'm saying. What an embarrassing profession. And I thought working in a gas station was embarrassing. My son worked in a gas station. My son was 38 when he hung himself. He worked in that gas station since he was 16. He smoked methamphetamines and crack, and he got some chick pregnant in a van, and then they aborted the baby by punching her in the stomach. He really lived an exemplary life. When I found out he hung himself, I asked, how high? And then they said, no, Mr. Plinkett, he committed suicide. And I said, I know, but how high was he hanging himself? I wanted to see how much his aspirations were, even in suicide. I always said, reach for the stars, Johnny. Apparently all he reached for was the pipe above the toilet in the bathroom of the fucking gas station. My son, what an embarrassment. God put him on this earth to smoke methamphetamines, I guess. You know, when my son was born, my wife called him our little angel. Now my cats are my legacy. My cats are my lineage. I have one cat, I named him Harry the Second, so that he could carry on my name. His name is little Harry Plinkett. Hey! Harry Plinkett, get out of the cabinets! It's not time to eat yet. You want me to fucking kill you? Anyway, I was saying my cats are my lineage. They're my legacy. I'm having a painting commissioned with my cat next to me. I'm sitting in a throne, and I have a little cat, Harry the Second, next to me. Like the King of England, I have to appoint the heir to my throne from my loins. So in my will, even though my lawyer said I couldn't do it, I'm writing him in as the benefactor of my fortune. You ask yourself, what is my fortune? Well, I have some stock in Blockbuster Video. I have about $1,400 in my checking account. I figure a cat could buy a lot of fucking catnip with $1,400. He'll live like a king. So here's Mr. Plinkett. They made a couple short films, I guess, where this guy named Rich Evans dresses up like me, and he makes a fucking fool of himself. Why this is a subject of a mini documentary, I'll never know. Perhaps these guys should make a documentary highlighting some of the problems in the world. You know, like the overpricing of tuna, ATM fees, how the price of barbed wire has gone up, dry cleaning scams. So when my wife worked at a dollar store, I begged her to shoplift while she was working, you know, because there were things there that I liked. I say, honey baby, get me some of them flashlights that are $1. And she says, why don't you just buy them? And I said, because it's cheaper to steal them. You understand that, right? You understand economics? So she went in and she put a bunch of stuff in her purse. Like I made her this list, and I said, give me some flashlights. I need some AA batteries. I need some of those fake flowers because I'm going to plant a garden. And I gave her a list of a bunch of crap, and she put it all in her purse, and then the manager caught her. And he was this Indian man. His name was Ruman. And he took her in the back, and he verbally abused her. And then she quit. But I guess when she quit, he said, no, you can't quit. You're fired. He said it in Hindi. So she didn't understand what he said, but I think that's what the gist of it was. My wife was very sad after that because she really liked her job at the dollar store as the cashier. She said all of her church friends came in there and she would talk to people and she loved it. And all that night she cried. All because I made her steal $6 worth of cheap plastic crap. But you know what? After all these years, I don't regret it. Did you know that the dry cleaning industry is a scam? How do you clean clothes without water and soap? It's a lie. They put it through the thing, and it goes on this rack, and the rack goes around in circles, and it comes back around to you, and they just put it in a bag and give it back to you. Then you look at it, and you go, I guess it's cleaner. And they charge you like $29 for some shit. I took my wool sport coat in there once. And I said, can you get out blood? Like a lot of blood? And she said, sure, we get out blood. We get out blood. She was Chinese. And I said, you can see that the fucking sport coat is soaked in blood, right? Yeah, we got out blood. And I said, fine. When will it be done? Today. I said, today? No, she goes, no, today. And I said, yeah, right, today. And she goes, no, today. I said, what time today? A little later? I'll come back in a couple hours. I'm going to go to the old country buffet and I'll come back. And she said, no, today. And I said, yes, I get it. And then I left and then went to the old country buffet, had some mustard trolli, and I came back. And I said, did you get my coat ready? And she goes, no, today. I never knew an Asian lady's neck could snap so easily. It snapped like a chicken. This story made me aware of something that they call security cameras. I never knew such a thing existed. To me, it felt like a bit of an irony, because cameras are very expensive. So what would be the point of having a camera pointed at a dry cleaner? You'd think you want a camera pointed at the camera. If I walked into a dry cleaner, I'm gonna steal the fucking security camera, not a bunch of clothes. Either way, this is what the lawyers called evidence. But because I take several different types of brain medication, and because the fucking lady couldn't speak English, I got off on something they call insanity. Temporary insanity, I guess, is the legal term. But, I don't know. I guess I felt sorry. Later on, I discovered she was saying 2 days. And I told her family they were weeping in the courtroom. I said, you need to pluralize things. So, I don't know. Has anybody ever played water polo? How the hell do you get the horse in the pool? I wouldn't want to be the guy to clean that pool out. Shit. They call them road apples. But in that case, it'd be bobbing for apples. Anyway, horses ain't got nothing on cats. Cats are truly the creature of the gods. You know who liked cats? The Egyptians. They worshipped them. You know why? Because they're awesome. And the Egyptians built the pyramids, the greatest structures on earth, other than Indian casinos. But cats were worshipped by the ancient Egyptians. They even buried their cats. They mummified them. So there's all this like cat mummies. In fact, when the first people raided Egyptian tombs, like 1800s or whatever, they found so many fucking cat mummies and dead bird mummies. They're all over the place that they ground them up and used them as fertilizer. Shit, I can only imagine how many cat mummies they found over 3,000 years of Egyptian history. It's a lot of cats. It's a lot of fertilizer. Has anybody ever shopped at Linens and Things? Sometimes I go into Linens and Things, or Michael's, or stores like that. You know why? 'Cause it's like a fucking MILF paradise. I just push a cart around, and I watch the booties go up and down in the mom jeans. And then I imagine myself, following home a young mom, watching which house she goes into, getting out of my Cadillac, making my way up to the door, and then asking her if she wants to make crafts with me. I really like to make wreaths. I really like candles. I have these little setups in my house. Oh, I'm doing commentary. So these guys made a feature film, again, with fake Plinkett, called something... Feeding Frenzy? Oh yeah, Feeding Frenzy. Sorry, I had to look at the box. And I don't know. I guess they think they're funny or something. But the movie's a fucking bore. I tried to watch it, but about maybe like 10 minutes in, I got bored and I took it out. And then I took the disc. And then I mailed it to Netflix in hopes that they would send me something back that was actually good. Have you guys ever watched TV? When I got my first television, I remember it was my 45th birthday. And I took that TV and I brought it home and I turned it on and I said, this picture quality is unacceptable. And then I brought the TV back and I asked for my money back. And I said, really? Black and white? Are you joking me? I could see color if I went into a live play, or I see color in my dreams or my imagination. Then the clerk in the store, he said, I'm sorry, sir. Isn't it amazing, though, to have a moving picture show in your home? And I said, you know what's amazing to have in my home? Your wife. And he said, what? No, really what I said was, it's amazing to have running water and heat and electricity in my home. That's what's amazing. I don't need some boob tube. And then he said, what did you say? And I said, boob tube. You fuck. And then I walked out of the store and I saw him writing it down in the background, so I may have coined that phrase, I don't know, it's possible. Do you ever wonder who coined the phrase? Do you think it was Albert Einstein? He would say that that's a paradox. Get out of the cabinets! Don't eat that tuna. That's for lunch tomorrow. I'm sorry, my cats. I said get... Fuck! Damn it, you made me knock over the microphone. This is a very expensive microphone. I bought it at Zaire. Do you ever wonder where snow comes from? Some kind of scientist might tell you it's like water droplets freezing or something and accumulating and becoming like crystals or snowflakes and or whatever. But I really think snow is cocaine that's falling off of God's mustache. If God's been alive for 16 billion years, something's keeping him going. He sure ain't getting methamphetamines from my dead son. I wonder if my son even satisfied the maggots that ate him. Or do you think they were disappointed in him too? The fucking maggots probably died from all the noxious drug chemicals in his system. There's a bunch of maggots underground that were high on methamphetamines. In fact, when a new grave was dug with the name Plinkett on it, it's filled with flesh-eating bugs and bacteria immediately. They probably have their own little internet that they talk to each other on. Hey, Plinkett's being buried in plot 32. Oh shit, I'll be right there. I'm looking forward to getting my tweak on. Anyway, so I'm talking about the history of Plinkett, right? But really, like the history of Plinkett, I was born in 1906. And I played stickball a lot with the other children. And then I went to school. My father sent me to the school to learn about things, about the world and mathematics and science. And I grew up in England. I was a schoolboy in England. I had little shoes, and little socks, and a hat, and little buttons. And my father wanted to move to America. He said it was the land of orphanology. And I said, no, Father, the land of opportunity. And then he punched me in the jaw. So we booked passage on a steamship. My father couldn't afford first class or second class or third class. So I bought the only 3 tickets for fourth class, which was riding inside of a suitcase. And then all of a sudden I felt the jolt and cold water rushing in. I was able to open up my suitcase and my mother's, but for some reason I couldn't find the key to open up my father's suitcase, and I heard him screaming inside of it. And I said, happy travels, and we went up to the deck and got into a lifeboat. And then me and my mother later thought it was funny that my father drowned in a suitcase in the bottom of the Titanic. I guess it wasn't so funny, was it? So then, over time, I became an adult entertainer. This was a low point in my career. I entertained adults at a retirement home. I did magic shows. I did card tricks. I even blew up balloons. And then the adults and I guess you would call them elderly people, right? They are adults, but they enjoyed my performances. I would wear a clown costume. I wouldn't wear the clown makeup, though, because I have allergens. I would wear a clown costume. One elderly woman thought that I was Jimmy Carter. I think she was confused, and she said that I was her favorite president. So, I took advantage of that. I schmoozed her, and then, we had sexual relations. And she said, oh, Jimmy, will you wear a Jimmy? I said, what's the problem? What do you think, you're going to get pregnant at 89? And then she admitted she was just making a joke. And then I left. I can't say I didn't try that again. Going to an old folks home and impersonating former presidents in order to get some action. It's kind of a weird concept, but it works. The elderly, even though Reagan is dead, they think you're Reagan if you wear like a weird hairpiece and you talk like him. I did once wear a dress and a big white wig, and I got some lesbo Barbara Bush action on. It was weird though, because once it came down time to, take out my giant elderly cock, the lady that I was with didn't seem to notice or mind. So I don't know if she thought Barbara Bush was a man to start with, or if she knew that I was a dude dressed up as Barbara Bush. Things got really confusing, but, it was hot. I'm sorry, is this too much information?